Howdy, Mark here with your annual Yap session. I want to talk about a quick topic that I get asked about a lot in person and also online. It's a topic that's well covered in a lot of other spaces of YouTube, but I get the impression that a lot of people who have watched my videos or watch my videos don't consume a lot of other YouTube content, especially not the mainstream stuff. So that topic really is, why don't I do this more often? Why don't I try to make money off it? Why don't I try to make a living off of it? Why, like, travel and record stuff as I go. That sounds amazing. And the answer's a little complicated, but the end result is just YouTube's not built for it, and also I'm not built for it. So let me dive a little bit more in depth with that, and I'll try to give you something better to look at in the process.
All right. It's actually oddly a little bit harder to do this out in Appalachia than it is in Colorado, because people actually live out here on these roads and stuff. Colorado has a lot of dense little urban areas, and then nobody tends to live out on roads like these. I guess it's because everything's a national forest or park out there. But no, in West Virginia and the rest of Appalachia, everybody's kind of spread out. Everybody loves to live in the middle of fucking nowhere. And I mean, the roads are so crappy too. I mean, this isn't a main connecting road, but it's well traveled. So like I said, YouTube isn't built for it. I'm not built for it. I'll start with the easy one. YouTube is a social media platform, not an art gallery. YouTube relies on advertisements, which relies on people coming back every day, and that tailors, and they definitely tailor to this, that tailors towards a repeatable audience. It tailors towards getting consistent uploads and consistent viewership. Something that, if you release a video once every 3 months and get 60,000 views on one of them and 20,000 views on the other, YouTube isn't terribly interested in promoting that kind of content, and they have no reason to. They're a business, like I said. They have no responsibility digging into each bit of content and promoting the more artistic or the more upstanding content. They do have a reason to promote controversial content, which might be obvious to some of you, but something like that travel video that I made. The difference between 6 months of editing, writing, composition that ends up being a 6-minute video, the difference between that 6-minute video and somebody playing video games for 6 minutes to YouTube is nothing. They're not going to sit there and watch everybody watch the video and see how they're engaging with it or how much they appreciate it. They do to some extent. They judge all that stuff on likes and subscribers and comments, which is somewhat reflective of the video's quality and impression and that kind of stuff, but ultimately that only goes so far. And YouTube can only really know so much about a given video because their platform is just so massive. It's a formula that has worked for them for years and years. They are a pretty amazing platform, honestly, all things considered. They make mistakes here and there, and God, their app keeps getting updated and breaking, and it's irritating as hell. But ultimately, it is an incredibly well-run platform. And I don't mean to not appreciate that part either. I mean, the fact that I get to make something and get to show the world is pretty amazing. It doesn't get promoted as much as, I'd love it to. I put my blood, sweat, and tears into something, and I would love for everybody to see that, but, you know, what's to say everyone else isn't either. So all of their interest from a social media platform is to find someone like Markiplier. Maybe that's a good example. Somebody who uploads, well, used to upload consistently, playing video games or just making generally interesting content, and keeps bringing people back to that platform for more. They don't have to promote them in any special way, because people just keep coming back, which is fine. I knew that coming in. I knew that making those videos. I've been on YouTube for a while as a consumer, not so much as a poster, obviously. But I recognized that pattern, and when I was making the videos all the way through, I knew that was the case, and I was okay with that. Man, this is chunky. This is more chunky than normal as far as West Virginia is concerned. Let's see. I did also want to address some comments talking about not necessarily the effort that I put in those videos, but the imagination and the creativity, and saying that I'm more creative or imaginative than other people on this platform, and that's just not true. When you commit to that upload schedule, if you commit to that level of content, you know, it squanders imagination to an extent, and that's perfectly okay. I mean, a lot of these people who make money and make a living on YouTube, it's their job. It's a 9-to-5 job. And when I started that channel, I also had a 9-to-5 job, and the imaginative and creative part is lost in that process, just like it's lost in a 9-to-5 job. That's not to say they don't have passions or other outlets of creativity, or they aren't working on imaginative projects also. There are plenty of platforms and content creators that have consistent uploads and have interesting prospects on their content, I guess. And then once in a while, just upload something a little more creative and a little more intriguing. You know, they take risks. There are a lot of people who make consistent content and still take risks, and I am just lacking that consistent content part. Like that, just somebody living out on this road. Eesh. And that's fine. I just wanted to dispel that part where, you know, all the people who upload and treat this as a career are any less imaginative or creative than I am, because that's just not true. I also want to point out, some of my videos are a little bit creative, but a lot of my videos are just moshed together random pieces of clips and montages and all that. Like, some of the filmography is creative, and I appreciate the compliments, don't get me wrong, but I wouldn't go as far as saying I'm an artist as far as my video go. Take a left turn, that's not gonna happen. Okay. Private property, don't go that way. All the way down, Route 1. Okay. Godspeed Road, that's about fitting. To be a little more specific, YouTube, even to start monetization, needs 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours within a year's time. And the views, like if you see a view count, you can't just multiply that by the video duration. That's not how it works. YouTube's a little weird about that. And I need some heating. So that Finder video that I had that has 680 watch hours. So you know, that's what, like 52,000 views or something on a 6-minute video. is maybe like a seventh of the way there. I can math a little bit. And also that T7 review with 14,000 views or something has maybe 800 watch hours, since it's a longer video, and apparently people just like to listen to me talk for some reason. And so they really value, you know, that long-term viewership and consistent viewership. And even though I have a couple popular videos, they're either not long enough or they're not popular enough, and that's perfectly fine. Ultimately, I made those videos for me and to show off a little bit. I'm really glad people like them, seem to like them. I'm really happy how it turned out, yada, yada, yada. Those videos aren't perfect. Any filmographer or you know, any half-decent photographer can pick them apart, and that's fine. That's why I haven't posted them to those subreddits or those communities, etc. But that's perfectly fine. It's not the objective, is to make something perfect. It's just to make the best thing I could at the time I could with the skills and time I had, essentially. And they turned out really, really well, thankfully. To continue on to the next part of that, I mean, personally, I'm just not built for that kind of entrepreneurship, solo entrepreneurship, I guess. The idea of relying on some pseudo algorithm, the YouTube suggestion and, you know, promotion algorithm, what videos they decide that people should see or not see. Being dependent on that sounds pretty wild to me, even though, you know, motorcycle content isn't exactly controversial. You know, I can't imagine relying on content like a lot of the firearm YouTube community does. That's pretty nuts to me. And I know there's other avenues of, you know, income, but ultimately YouTube is the metric in most places, and relying on that is pretty crazy. The other thing is, in those 6 months that I was living kind of off grid and being pretty unstable, that shit is exhausting. Holy shit, it's exhausting. You're constantly worrying about the future, or at least I am. As much as I am someone who pretty constantly approaches new adventures, and someone who tends to go with the flow, still having that uncertain future all the time is exhausting, and it's scary. I'm not afraid to admit that the prospect of doing something completely new and unfamiliar is scary. And sometimes I'm up for that task, often in short bursts. I'm not up for that task for years at a time. Not to mention, I'm kind of broke. Not kinda. I'm running out of money, / am out of money. I have payments, I have debts, just like everyone my age. And I need to pay those off. I need that financial stability again. Having this as a career, especially with as relatively small as the motorcycle YouTube space is, you know, that's not super viable until you're a pretty substantial figure. Oh, is that no, it's just a deer. I thought that was a bear. You know, I give a lot of props to YouTubers like Swanky Cat, Big Rock Moto, I think. Some of the travel people too, whose names I can't remember off the top of my head because I don't really watch them. I have to give props to them because, I mean, you see the kind of videos you have to make if you take a look at the channel. You see the kind of videos you have to make to stay relevant on this platform. In this lane that we as motorcyclists have. Where does that go? I do love Powerline roads. I'll be right back. Although they usually don't go very far. I don't want to have to turn around down there on a slope. Okay. Yeah, so I just don't have the guts for it, really. I don't have the guts for it. I don't have the financial space for it. I don't have the desire to try to come up with a topic every week to talk about. You know, this bike versus that bike, what tires do I like, and, you know, try to dice up the same arguments that everybody else has. Am I just, oh, did I skip a lot of the road that I wanted to take? I did. Whoopsie.
So, could I do this? Maybe. But do I want to do this? Not really. And I don't really want to play by YouTube's little algorithm / rule set, and I don't have any reason to change that. It is what it is ultimately, and I enjoyed doing what I did as a hobby, and I'm comfortable leaving it there. And in the meantime, I need a job. Thanks for watching.